We live in a planet which weather have been changing through the history, becoming a topic of matter among humankind. Can be seen in news, broadcasts, newspapers, and other various media press. Moreover, many things are said about this phenomenon as it is affecting not a single group of people, but a whole living forms on Earth. Therefore, there has to be a certain kind of concern from us in order to avoid these changes that continuously affect our planet. Besides, these changes happen gradually in such a long term that people do not become aware of. But what we certainly know is that these changes have negative consequences on our planet, such as the ice caps melting and the increasing heat waves.
Over the last 25 years, the nature's capacity to support the living forms of life has plummeted. If we lose massive portions of the natural world, human quality of life will be at stake, and the lives of future generations will be threatened. If we won't commit ourselves to take action today, we might lose what our planet has in store for us in the future. So how will we respond? As human beings, we are wired to care. We care about our loved ones, our careers, material things, and living a successful and purposeful life. Yet, all the things we care about most are at risk as the world gets warmer. The climate crisis can feel abstract or overwhelming, or maybe even like someone else's problem. But with human action at the root of this change, there is an important question. Perhaps the most important question everyone should ask themselves. Why should we care?
Climate change. It won't just affect the forest or the coral reefs or the people in far-off countries. In fact, it affects all of us.
From more extreme weather to increasing food prices, to recreation and decreased opportunities to appreciate the natural world, people everywhere will feel the effects of climate change.
A. Anthropogenic climate change driven by human-caused emissions to the atmosphere. It stands to reason that we face compromised air quality. This affects human health, especially children.
R. Rising temperatures have worsened extreme weather events.
Global warming also increases water vapor in the atmosphere, which can lead to more frequent heavy rain and snowstorms. A warmer and more moist atmosphere over the ocean makes it likely that the strongest hurricanes will be more intense, produce more rainfall, and possibly be larger.
Exposing the future generation to lifelong harm health. Climate change is already harming people's health by increasing the number of extreme weather events and exacerbating air pollution.
And if nothing is done to mitigate it, its impacts could burden an entire generation with disease and illness throughout their lives. Children are particularly vulnerable to the health risks of a changing climate. Their bodies and immune systems are still developing, leaving them more susceptible to disease and environmental pollutants.
Without immediate action from all countries to cut greenhouse gas emissions, gains in well-being and life expectancy will be compromised, and climate change will come to define the health of an entire generation. We are fortunate to live on a beautiful, diverse, nurturing, awe-inspiring planet, and our children and all future generations deserve the same. Humanity is capable of great things, and we can make change happen for the right reasons.
It's not too late to slow the pace of climate change as long as we act today. There's still time to act and make a change.
The effects of climate change may seem insurmountable, but we can all battle it through change. First, C. Change your usual routines by incorporating walks rather than the use of transportation.
This is a great way to add exercise to your busy schedule. Switching to walking or cycling for more of our short-term journeys helps us to protect biodiversity. It creates less noise, less air pollution, and results in fewer emissions that are warming the atmosphere.
Healthy living through healthy eating. Eat more foods that are made locally and less red meat.
Eating locally ensures that your food has not traveled thousands of miles using fossil fuels that produce large amounts of greenhouse gases. It also ensures that your food hasn't been refrigerated for hours or even days, which also produces mass amounts of greenhouse gases. Local food doesn't create large carbon footprints through overseas plane travel or long truck trips. This cuts down on fuel consumption and air pollution.
A. Avoid the usage of plastics. Plastic pollution causes harm to humans, animals, and plants through toxic pollutants.
It can take hundreds or even thousands of years for plastic to break down, so the environmental damage is long-lasting. While getting rid of plastic waste is the primary environmental problem, the production process is a leading cause of carbon emissions contributing to global warming.
Every stage of plastic production emits greenhouse gases, from producing resin from petroleum, making products from the resin, and to the disposal of plastic at the end of its life. Recycling all plastic waste would reduce carbon dioxide equivalent emissions to 4.9 gigatons in 2050, or 25% from business as usual emissions.
And normalize adapting to nature. No matter how quickly we reduce emissions, the reality is that certain climate impacts are inevitable. The seas are rising, temperatures break records every year. Droughts, floods, and extreme weather are damaging communities today. Cutting carbon is the only long-term solution for avoiding climate impacts. In the short term, we need to adapt. That means everything from discouraging development in high-risk areas, to planning for water scarcity, to building more resilient cities and communities.
G. Green your commute. Burning fossil fuels like gasoline and diesel releases carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, into the atmosphere.
With this being said, there are many ways to reduce your transportation emission that will also make you healthier, happier, and save you a few money. Whenever you can, take public transit to reduce the emission of smoke into the ozone layer, causing more greenhouse gases. You can also ride a bike, walk, or even use electric or plug-in hybrid vehicles that do not emit dangerous gases into the ozone. Reducing these co-emitted air pollutants improves air quality and benefits human health.
E. Expanding, restoring, and managing forests.
Photosynthesis removes carbon dioxide naturally, and trees are especially good at storing carbon removed from the atmosphere by photosynthesis. Expanding, restoring, and managing forests to encourage more carbon uptake can leverage the power of photosynthesis, converting carbon dioxide in the air into carbon stored in wood and soils. Protecting natural ecosystems and sustainably managing and re-establishing forests are important ways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and slow down temperature rise in the short term by drawing down carbon dioxide from the atmosphere.
Halting the loss and degradation of natural systems and promoting their restoration have the potential to contribute.
Over one-third of the total climate change mitigation scientists say is required by 2030.
To maximize the client benefits of forests, we must keep more forest landscapes intact, manage them more sustainably, and restore more of those landscapes which we have lost.
No matter where you are or who you are, we reside in only one planet, planet Earth. So, why not actually make an action? Until our biggest battle cry turns to our loudest cheer. Until someday, we'll all sing in chorus.
We love the earth, it is our planet. We love the earth, it is our planet. We love the earth. It is our home. We love the earth. It is our home. We love the earth. It is our planet. We love the earth. It is our home. We love the earth.
We love the earth. It is our home. We love the earth.
Out of the 9 planets, Earth has been the only one that was given life. But if we fail to take care of it, what kind of Earth will the next generation talk about? If we want to continue living in such a beautiful planet, let us create a force even greater than gravity. Let's move in unity. Only then, when we're united, one heart, and one purpose, will we heal our dying earth. We need to change our ways. Think of your children. What kind of ocean will you give them? What kind of mornings will you live them? Are you going to give them oceans with raging waves and take lives? A morning like with smokes from our greed because we're running so much into industrial progress? If not, make this now livable so we can give tomorrow a heartfelt promise.